Welcome back. And for our book review this week, we look at a book titled A Soft Landing by Wisani Mushwana. The book explores the implications of a past not decisively dealt with. A powerful coming-of-age story about a boy from rural Limpopo who must find ways to manage loss and to become fully himself as a gay man. Well, to share more on the book, we're joined virtually by author Wisani Mushwana. Wisani, a very good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome.
Thank you, Sampura. Good morning.
Let's talk about this novel. Give us a brief description of what this book is all about and what it focuses on.
Of course. So A Soft Landing is a novel about Neo and Anzani, two boys who are young and in love, but they come from this community that is quite averse to the idea of being together. And so, realizing this, they make a pact with each other to do well in their grade 12 exams and leave the community in search of unfamiliar freedom. However, when they're about to leave, the community, Neo unfortunately passes away, and from then on we follow Anzani as he deals with Neo's death, but also tries to land softly.
And I see that the book is divided into 3 sections. Speak to us more about how these dividers go between present and past, then past and present, and past and future.
Yes. I think my intent with that was, the intention behind that was to show how the past plays a crucial role in the present, and I could only do that by going back and forth with the narrative, just to show the implication of the past in the present.
And the main theme is on grief. Do you want to share with us how grief sort of manifests itself in different situations in the book?
Yes, of course. So my idea behind that was to, I think most of the time we look at grief as something linear, right? You encounter grief, you encounter loss, and you go through a moment of or period of mourning or acceptance, and then you come out on the other side having healed. And most of the time it is not that simple, right? And so the idea behind was just to complicate that. And I managed to do that through different characters, through the character of Violet and through the character of Anzani, who experience some form of grief, not only through death, but through the loss of relationships or displacement, and having to mourn what could have been.
Does the book also highlight how Anzani mourns his grief? I mean, for the purposes of those who might want to, just see how other people deal with their grief in their own little spaces.
Yes. I think grief wreaks havoc for Anzani. The moment the moment he's about to leave the space that is unwelcoming for him and go to a different space that he feels would be a little bit more comfortable, that's when Neo gets taken away from him, and then from then on he just spirals. And so he does a few things to kind of deal with the grief. Some are not as successful. Some do not aid his grief, but he tries to deal with it.
And I see the title of the book, A Soft Landing. Does it have anything to do with how Anzani finally deals with his grief and overcomes it?
I'd like to think so. Someone told me, where's the soft landing in the book? I think the title, The Soft Landing, speaks to the characters' need to find respite from their respective life struggles, especially Anzani. And so I feel like towards the end, there's light. I feel like there's light. Yeah.
And there's also a balance with a bit of hope and restoration as well. Speak to us about that balance in that particular section.
Yes. So in his adulthood, Anzani he meets Yolula, and Yolula becomes his love interest, and he becomes, I think, a beacon of hope for him. He shows him that he can, even though he's gone through this, this traumatic childhood, he can still find love, and he can still, there's always light at the end of the tunnel, and he facilitates that soft landing for him.
And you don't shy away from difficult matters now, do you? I mean, you lead us through the narrative with a clear, natural, and at times melodious tone. How did you get that right?
Uh, I guess by being honest.
Okay.
I guess by
Okay.
being honest, I really just wanted to be honest about the character's experience or experiences, and I try to put myself in their shoes and see how I would feel in order to be honest. And I think that was the main thing. And also, just I guess making the narrative as simple as possible for individuals to just like read us to understand and not edited in any way. Yeah, I think those were two things.
Yeah. Gosh, so many plots and twists and turns in this book. And when one thinks there's a sweet and satisfying ending, you succeed in delaying the final devastating revelations, eh?
Yes, that was quite intentional. That was my main thing, and that is something that I wrote the last, mainly because it was hard to write, but also because I knew I had to get there. And so yeah, readers are in for a ride. I really don't want to ruin it for them, but yeah, they're gonna enjoy it. They're gonna enjoy it.
So what's the main message? I mean, apart from grief being the bedrock of this book, what's the main message? What is it that you want to convey to your readers?
I think when I sat down to write this book, I was really thinking about shame and how shame is weaponized against queer people. And so my idea was to explore how that shame lands on queer people, how shame organizes queer lives, how shame organizes queer relationships and relations. And often there is this notion that queer relationships do not last, and I really wanted to explore how much of that is a result of shame. And I think if there's anything readers you should take from the work is how the weaponized shame affect queer people. And how it wreaks havoc, and I mean we explore that through the character of Wisani. And so yeah, I think that would be my main thing.
And do you think the message that is encapsulated in this book is enough to change people's minds and perceptions about queer relationships, as you put it?
Not really. I think it depends on the person. I think it depends on the person. I think I'm there to spark conversation. I'm a writer. I think that's what I'm supposed to do. I really cannot. I can't change. People, but I can at least plant a seed. Something they can think about. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Wisani, great chatting to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. We just spoke to Wisani Mushwana on his debut novel, A Soft Landing, which explores the courage to love and to be loved.